Hey, and welcome back. It's Coach Monica, and I need to destroy a huge lie that's literally stealing your future. You're still chasing your much younger body while your 45-year-old plus body is falling apart. You're obsessing over the number on the scale while your muscle mass disappears. You're doing endless cardio to get skinny while your metabolism crashes and your bones weaken. Today, we're crushing the skinny equals healthy myth that's robbing women over 40 of their strength, of their independence, of their longevity, of their mobility. Because here's the brutal truth, guys: skinny won't save you from aging, but muscle will. If you've ever said, I don't want to get bulky, or I just want to tone up, then this episode is going to change everything you think you know about your body after 40. Let's go. Let's start with the biggest lie, and I mean the biggest lie the fitness industry has ever sold women. Skinny equals healthy. This belief, which, I try to imagine, where did it all start? It certainly probably didn't start by women, right? But this belief was created by a culture obsessed with youth, perpetuated by magazines that Photoshop 20-year-olds, and reinforced by the diet industry that makes billions with a B, keeping you small and weak. That's the dream that we've been sold for, I don't know, the last 40 years, and specifically in the last 25 years, where the diet culture, the Reckon diets, the um, Atkins, I'm sorry, not Reckons, the Atkins diet and the paleo diet and the all water pineapple only eat 5 days in a row diets, all the fad diets, all the pills, the fen and then different types of things that are supposed to be overnight success with our weight. That's what we're being sold. That's the idea. But here's what nobody tells you at all. Skinny is the enemy of longevity after 40. Yeah, and that's what we're going to dive into today, because your 25-year-old body could get away with being skinny. You had natural muscle mass, raging hormones, and metabolism that can burn through anything. Like, you could eat anything back in the day and never even think twice about gaining weight, because you still would fit in that size zero or size two or size three pairs of jeans. But your 45-year-old or 40 over 40 body, it needs muscle to survive and thrive. We can no longer depend on what we had 20 years ago or more. Yet you're still chasing that college weight and that size 5 jeans, aren't you? It's embedded in our heads that that's the goal. You're still trying to fit into the jeans from 2005. That's why you haven't thrown them out. You haven't donated them. They're still in your closet. Because one day you're going to get back into those jeans. So, see, you're measuring success by how small you can make yourself instead of how strong you can become. Let that sit for a minute. The smaller you are, the better you are in your mind, as opposed to the stronger you are. And we're going to really, really break that specific piece down today, because I want this to hit home for you. I want you to really think about this, ladies. Here's the reality check: that 20 something year old body is gone. And that's actually good news. Yeah. Hallelujah. It's good news, because you're over 40. body has the potential to be stronger, more capable, more resilient than you've ever been in the past if you stop trying to shrink it. The hidden dangers of the skinny obsession is so real. I mean, so many dangers there. And this is the part that a lot of us don't think about when we're chasing the skinny. Under eating specifically destroys your metabolism. And a lot of us undereat. We think bird eating and the less calories we have, the better our weight goals are going to actually come into fruition. We train our bellies to only take in so much food, so you literally get to a point where you can't even eat a big meal or decent sized meal. And then to combine or to add to that, we over cardio. We do a lot of cardio, which does what? Eat into muscle. Because if we don't have the fuel in our bodies to feed the body, to align with the calories that we're burning with cardio, if that's what we're doing a lot of, then it's going to tear down muscle. Fats. That combination, it leaves you with what we call skinny fat. And it's not cute. That title is not a badge of honor for anyone. It's the smaller version of your former self, but with less muscle, slower metabolism, and weaker bones. Do you think that's something we want to aspire to? Should we aspire to skinny fat or skinny at all when we have there's so many drawbacks and negative side effects to that? No, that should not be the goal. You might fit into smaller clothes. Yeah, woohoo, right? But you can't carry your groceries up the stairs without getting winded. Hmm. You might weigh less, but you have zero energy. You have brain fog. You have no stamina, no endurance, no, will to do anything active. But you might look thin. You may be, the thin look, but you feel weak and fragile. So there's major drawbacks to this skinny thing, and it's again, it's not good. And this is what happens when you prioritize skinny over strong. You become smaller, weaker version of yourself instead of a leaner, stronger version of yourself. And that's what we should be aspiring to. A leaner, stronger version versus the skinny version. So, what changes after 40 for us, right? You might be wondering, what changes? So, we're going to actually talk about what's really happening in your body after 40 because understanding this part really changes everything. First, let's talk a little bit about muscle loss. Really huge. Starting around 30 years of age, you lose about 3 to 8% of your muscle mass per decade. After 40, this accelerates big time, like warp speed. By 50, if you're not actively building muscle, you are losing it uber fast. This is not optional, it's biology, right? But here's what's even more devastating. Every pound of muscle you lose takes your metabolism with it. Let me repeat that. Every pound of muscle you lose takes your metabolism with it because muscle is metabolically active tissue. It burns calories 24/7, even while you sleep. Fat tissue, it just sits there, adds up, it crowds your organs and any space it can find to live. It's not it's not doing much at all but just hanging out. Yeah. So when you lose muscle and replace it with fat, because that's essentially what's going to happen, the more muscle you lose, fat has more places to live. And even if the scale stays the same, your metabolism is going to slow down. Boom. And this is why you can eat the same amount you ate at 30 and gain weight at 45 because you're making room for the fat. The body fat has a place to live because muscle loss is accelerated. Then there's the hormonal shift, a biggie for us ladies, right? Estrogen starts declining in our 40s, and this affects everything. It affects your ability to build muscle. It affects your fat distribution, your insulin sensitivity, and your bone density. And we could see after 40 all of these things happening at once, can't we? Or we're sitting here going, what the heck is going on with our bodies? Why is it now that I'm holding more fat in my belly? My thighs are bigger. I'm getting more cellulite. My butt is lumpier. My arms are holding fat on the back side of my arms, which is again these places where they're underutilized, right? Muscle is, we've lost the muscle there. And so now the fat is piling up in these areas that are underutilized or under muscleized. Is a little term I made up, under muscleized. Yeah, because we're not building anything there. We're not maintaining anything there muscularly. So yeah, fat gets to find all kinds of places to hide out now. And we see it. We feel it. So, lower estrogen means you store more fat around your midsection. It means your body becomes more insulin resistant, okay? Meaning our insulin is not processing the same, making it harder to process carbs, which we love our carbs. I know I do. I'm a I will admit, you give me some French fries or some potato chips or some bread and dip it in oil, or you give me some pasta, I am happy. But in my 20s, I could eat all of that stuff and not blink an eye. Over 40, yeah, not so much. It sticks to you like glue. And it means your bones start losing density faster as well when the estrogen is declining, which is even more critical of a danger that we want to avoid because if our bones become increasingly brittle, you know the rest. Falls, any falls, breaking anything, hips, knees, ankles, arms, we're out of commission, or we need support, or then those things will kind of like be markers as we get older, even after they heal, as being weaker, right? We want to avoid that. Progesterone and testosterone are also in the decline during this time in our lives. These are also important hormones for various other functions in our body. But here's what the fitness industry, good old fitness industry, won't tell you. But Coach Monica will. I'm going to tell you. Strength training is your hormone therapy. Outside of actual HRT, lifting weights it'll help you maintain muscle mass despite your declining estrogen. It improves insulin sensitivity despite your estrogen or other hormonal decline. It stimulates bone formation despite decline in other hormones. Because your metabolism isn't broken. It's underutilized, it's under muscled, it's under muscle strength, right? Under, meaning it's low to none if you're not training. Your body isn't betraying you, it's responding to the signals you are sending it. And right now, you're sending signals to say, I don't need muscle. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm all right. Yeah, we're fine without muscles. I just want to be small. Can you just make me small? Can you just make me skinny? Yeah, that's what you're telling your body. And guess what? Your body's gonna listen real loud and clear. Yeah. Another thing that's happening after 40 is our recovery changes, right? You can't bounce back from workouts like you used to. You can't survive on 4 or 5 hours of sleep and expect your muscles to build. You can't outtrain a stressful lifestyle and poor nutrition. Our bodies have proven that. Again, you think about who you were 20 years ago and who you are today if you're over 40, and you can see clear as day the difference in how your body is receiving what you put into it, what you do in terms of training or lack thereof, in terms of stress, in terms of sleep, in terms of the type of foods, the type of people, your mental health, every aspect of your life. Your body is absorbing it and doing something with it. Yeah. And so this is why the approach that worked in your 20s fails in your 40s or older. Your body needs a different strategy, one that prioritizes muscle building, recovery, and long-term sustainability over the quick fix, like we talked about earlier, the bad diets, the pills, the things that we are looking for instant gratification versus a long term sustainable lifestyle that gives us return on investment day in and day out. So here's why muscle is your insurance policy for everything that matters after 40. I'm going to keep this really simple. First, your metabolism. And, I'm going to say a lot of times people misspeak greatly about what metabolism is and what it isn't. But today I'm going to tell you what it is. Every pound of muscle burns about 6 to 7 calories per day at rest. Every pound of fat burns about 2 to 3 calories. See the difference? Okay. So when you build 10 pounds of muscle, you're burning an extra 40 to 50 calories per day doing absolutely nothing. Sounds good, doesn't it? That's an extra 15,000 plus calories per year, about 4 pounds of fat. Yeah. But it's not just about the calories. Muscles make your insulin sensitive, which means your body processes food more efficiently. It makes you stronger, right? We know that, which means daily activities become easier. It makes you more resilient, it makes you more able to recover faster from stress and illness. You look at a person who's an athlete and they get sick, they bounce back quick, right? Especially those who are strength trainers or in some type of resistant training program. They are more apt to get quickly heal and recover from an illness or an injury a lot faster than someone who isn't. I mean, that's just biology. They have that metabolic currency covering their bodies, helping their bodies to heal. So let's talk about the independence piece. of how muscles help you. The ability to carry your own groceries, golden. To lift your own luggage, golden. To get up from a chair without using your hands, even more golden. Like your legs is definitely an indicator of longevity. The stronger your legs are, you are in the house, okay? These 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 are all luxuries to be able to do as we age. It's aging with dignity because you are doing it on your own. You're not asking anyone to help you get up. You don't need a walker. You don't need a cane. You don't need a pole, a bar, any of that. And these are the things that some of us may not be thinking about right now that will quickly start to be a part of our lives in the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And as I've said it before, what we do now is the foundation for us 20, 30 years from now. It's our responsibility to ensure that we can be as independent, as mobile, agile as we can possibly be with what we do today. Another biggie is our bone density, right? It's huge. Like I said earlier, if our bones are strong, boom, we fall, we might be embarrassed, but is it likely that we'll break anything from just a simple fall? I'm not talking about something from height or off a ladder or something to that extent, but I'm talking about if we slipped on the ground on water and we fell, could we get up? One, without assistance. Um, are our bones strong enough to to take the impact of that fall without breaking anything from a simple fall, right? But weight bearing exercises and lifting weights is the most effective way to maintain and build bone density. Every time you strength train, you are sending signals to your bones to to be more dense and stronger as a response to the weight bearing effort it must take, right? Cardio doesn't do that. Yeah, cardio is not going to increase and improve any type of bone density. In fact, it is banging away at bones depending on the type of cardio that you're doing. Yoga doesn't do that. Mm-mm. Only resistance training sends the signals to the bones to stay strong because it is under weight bearing pressure. So like what cells do when they're torn, and excuse me, what tissue does when it's being uh, resistant trained. It's doing micro tears. It is reinforcing itself so that next time it will be able to handle the load. Bones do a similar thing. But without going into the biology of that, we're going to just stick to the simplicity of the theory around that, right? But here's the truth, and I've heard this in all of my years of coaching women specifically. Women will come up to me and say, I just want to get toned. I don't want to be bulky. I've heard that so many times, and inside, I just kind of honestly roll my eyes. And here's why I roll my eyes because it is nearly impossible for women to get bulky. And we all have some perception of what bulky means, right? But you don't have enough testosterone to quote unquote get bulky. In fact, if you're over 40, you have likely lost so much of your testosterone up until, over the last 20 years that, yeah, the bulky, you shouldn't worry about that. And what you call bulky is usually just muscle with a layer of fat over it. Because when you lose body fat, you're going to reveal the muscle you already have. If you have any like prominent or significant muscle physique under your body fat, you're just going to reveal it. And you can then control based on the type of physique and composition you want to hold on your body, what you will maintain or build or add to that, right, over time. And that could take years of effort to get your physique to a certain layer of building the muscle. So when you build muscle, you lose fat, you get smaller, you don't get bigger, you get sculpted, not bulky. So I would employ you to, if you have that mindset, to let that go. Bulky is not something that you should be concerned about. You should be concerned about removing the body fat that is not serving your body at this point, to sculpt your body, to get your body strong and lean. The women that you see that look extremely muscular are either genetically gifted, they might be using performance enhancers, or they've been training intensely for years. I'm talking people who are in the gym, 2, 3 times a day, or they're there for 4 hours a day. They are training their butts off. That's a lot of effort, and that is not the average person. So you're not going to accidentally become a bodybuilder by lifting weights, guys, 2, 3 times a week. You're just not going to. You're not going to ever get to that point. Again, unless you have the genetics, you are performance enhancing, you're training hardcore every day, all day. Yeah, then you might look like that. But the average woman, that isn't her goal. And that is not what we're speaking to today. But I just want to put that out there, that and kind of mystify that you just because you lift weights that you're not going to get like that. Okay? What you will become is strong, capable, energetic, and confident. You will have a better posture, more energy, your clothes are going to fit better. You're going to have more libido. If your libido is low, you're going to have less brain fog. You're going to have more really great endorphins. It's just a whole different way of living if you become a consistent strength trainer and a person who really embraces what it can do for your body. You'll age with strength instead of frailty. You won't be a frail woman. You will be a strong woman as you age. And this mindset is the reframe I want you to really take home today. Success isn't about being skinny. Success is about being strong, sculpted, energetic, and capable. It's about building a body that serves you for decades, not just for the beach season or for that perfect pair of jeans. I want you to really think about that. All right, so here are 3 things I need you to do this week to start building muscle advantage. Because on this podcast, we always have a takeaway. So, first thing I want you to do, and I know this will be hard for many of my listeners, but ditch the scale for 30 days. For the next 30 days, I want you to ditch the scale. I'm serious. Put it away. Instead, I want you to take progress pics and measurements every week because muscle weighs more than fat. So the scale is going to lie to you time and time again. It's going to lie. While your body is trying to transform, it's telling you the same weight you saw last week. So I want you to focus on how you feel, how your clothes fit, and how strong you're getting. Meaning that every week you are able to add 2 pounds, 5 pounds to your lifts. Week after week, you're getting stronger. Second thing, I want you to add protein to every meal this week. Your body needs protein to build and maintain muscle. Aim for a palm sized portion of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is not difficult, folks. It's called being intentional. When you're intentional, you make things happen, right? Like anything else in life, you make it happen. You can eat things like eggs, chicken, fish, Greek yogurt, protein powder, whatever works for your lifestyle. No protein, no muscle building, or even maintaining what you already have. It's just that simple. Okay, the third thing I want you to do this week is start lifting something heavy twice this week. Okay, I don't care if you use dumbbells, kettlebells, resistance bands, or even your own body weight. I want you to do some type of squat, even if that's you standing in front of a chair and squatting to the chair, a number of sets, a number of reps. Push ups you can do off the wall, you can do them on your knees, rows of some type, take the band and do the row, the kettlebell, the dumbbell, you can do rows. Movement that has multiple compound moves is really what you should be aiming for. Start with what you can handle and focus on your form. Your future self will thank you for every rep that you do today. And if you need help with a simple plan, message me. I'll be happy to give you a simple plan to get you started. I want you to stop chasing skinny, ladies. Start building strong. It is so critical, as we have discussed today. Your longevity depends on the muscle you build today. Your longevity depends on the muscle you build today. There is absolutely no reason that you should live with regret because you chose not to take action for your life. I would rather put in the sweat equity and the hard work right now than to wake up 20 years from now and regret that I didn't do enough to take care and pour into this body that I've been given and been blessed with to steward and to take care of. And we certainly don't want to pass that burden on to our children or our loved ones to have to deal with. So, ladies, I urge you, take the next step in getting yourself on point. There should be zero excuses and zero reasons that you can't unless you are physically incapable of doing so. Okay, so you got this. Take the next step. If this episode opened your eyes to muscle advantage, share it with another woman who needs to hear this message. We're changing the conversation from skinny to strong, one woman at a time. Next week, we're diving into metabolism myths that are keeping both men and women stuck after 40. You don't want to miss this. Until then, I'm Coach Monica. Lift heavy, eat protein, and remember, strong is the new sexy. Oops, skinny. See you soon. Bye.